Chilo.
Well, Sean, right here. Before we get into the actual fight conversation, I have to ask, like, what was going on there at the end when it seemed like Charles celebrated? DC had to explain to the crowd that you had won. What was going on from your point of view?
So, okay, yeah, I clearly heard them say split decision. I heard that. I knew they read a card for me. They read a card for him. But at the end, the crowd, I guess it was the crowd, or I don't know, but I couldn't hear who they finally said. It sounded like they said Charles. Wasn't sure. I looked over, and Charles and his team were celebrating. So I just, I knew it was a close fight. So I just assumed that I thought I did enough to win. But like I said, I knew it was close. Said it was a split. Read the decision, could not hear who they said it for. His team started celebrating, so I just assumed it was him. I accepted the loss and, shook DC's hand and went to turn away, and he kind of held my hand like, what are you doing? And he was like, you won, and I was just like, this, it was just crazy. I went from being like extremely low, like I said, accepted the loss, thought I lost, and then they told me I won, and elated, super happy, and yeah, roller coaster, crazy.
So when you say you accepted the loss, but you also said you thought you had done enough. So for those 3 seconds when you thought Charles had won, did you think you had been robbed in there, or did you think it could have gone either way?
I knew it was a close fight. I felt off. I knew it was a close fight. We're in his enemy territory, so I knew that could have swayed the judges. I knew it was close. I thought before even going to the judges' scorecards at the end of the fight, I ended on top, dropping elbows and stuff. I thought that gave me the last round. I thought I did enough to win, but knew it was close. And in the end, when they all started celebrating, when I say I accepted the loss, I mean in that brief moment after his team started celebrating, I was just like, oh damn, I lost. And then DC was like, no, you won. And I was just like, this is crazy. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I'll never forget it.
And last thing on this one, did you talk to Charles after all of that? Because it's like obviously he was the opposite side from you. He went from the highest of highs to now he's the loser in this one.
Right after the fight, I talked to him. I told him, I saw interviews leading up to this fight, how he said that, he had wanted a top 15 guy and somebody with a name. And I told him, I was like, I agree. I thought you did deserve a top 15 guy and a guy with a name. I was like, I appreciate you not, being all political and saying you didn't want to fight me and all that. I appreciate giving me the opportunity. And but no, I didn't talk to him after the whole scorecard announcement fiasco. No.
Sure. And then looking back at the actual fight, did it play out as you expected? Because obviously Charles was excited to fight you because he liked your style of fighting. He was excited to prepare for it. He liked how you were showman in there. So based on your expectations to how it played out, how did it compare?
I could tell he really studied me, and he really broke down my feints and knew what to expect. I could tell he knew what I was doing he knew what I was planning to do off of certain small little feints. He knew what was coming. And, that was kind of freezing me up, but I was freezing him up and stuff. And it was kind of like a chess match in there. It didn't really play out. I still thought because of, that dude's a killer. He's been in there with some of the best. He's a really aggressive dude. I thought it was going to be a lot more action, but that just tells me that, my tricks work. My feints work. I know that I can, I'm up there with one of the best strikers, with the best strikers in the game. I can, like I said, that dude's a killer, and I had him second guessing himself. I had him freezing up a lot.
So going off of that, you said you kind of quickly realized he did his homework. Did you have to alter the game plan at all, knowing that he probably knew what was coming his way?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not used to people. My feints throw everybody off. I'm tricky. I'm different. I'm weird. I thought I was going to have a lot more success with that. And, but like me being the striker I am, I could see that he was prepared for these things. So that had me, second guessing myself, I guess you can say. And like I said, it was kind of like a chess match. So, yeah, I just wasn't as quick to let go with my shots because I knew he was ready for them.
And final one for me, are you expecting a number next to your name in your next fight, or are you hoping to get an opponent that has a number next to their name?
Yeah, I was hearing all that, talk leading up to it, and I just really focused on what's in front of me. That'd be cool, of course, but I'm just excited to have a guy of his caliber on my resume now.
Sean over here. Congrats on the win.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing? Were you surprised that you were such a big underdog going into this fight?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't surprised by that at all. The moment my manager hit me with Charles Jourdain, I knew right out the gate I was going to be an underdog. Like I said, he's been in there with some killers, and, yeah, he's a hell of a fighter.
And you fought people in their hometowns before. What was it like fighting in Canada in a different country against someone, and that's obviously Canadian?
This cold stuff is for the birds. I couldn't stand the cold. This is my first international fight. I'm always proud to rep my city, St. Louis, and when I'm fighting in the States and stuff. But this is my first time fighting international, representing America. So that was cool. And yeah, I've been in enemy territory before. I actually prefer that, to be honest, because I know even though I was in enemy territory, that put a lot of pressure on him to perform in his in front of his fans and stuff. But yeah, I'm all for it. I'll fight in enemy territory every time.
Do you feel like he might have overlooked you in this fight?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's not me, like talking shit or nothing. I just 100% feel like he underestimated me. I really do. Yeah, I feel like he felt like I didn't belong in there with him. I should, he shouldn't even be, stooping down and fighting somebody like me. All that. I definitely felt that he was underestimating me.
How was the weight cut this time with the fact that, again, you're going to a different country? It's maybe not as familiar in terms of some of the things you're used to in the U.S. Like how, yeah, you just said it there. And side note to that, I know you also mentioned that the camp wasn't ideal either. Could you just talk about, the cut and also the camp as a whole?
Somebody must have told you something. Yeah, this was the...
well, you said it post-fight, to be fair. So
okay.
You told DC you didn't have a good camp.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the good camp part. But, man, the weight cut, this was the most brutal weight cut I've had yet. It was just I made some errors on my part weeks ago. But, yeah, this was the biggest opportunity in my life. I was so excited for it when I first got the name. And then, like, days later, I had a very serious injury during camp that had me not able to – I could barely do anything. I was training like an old grandma for like 5 to 6 weeks, like walking, and that's pretty much it, getting like 20,000 steps a day. And, yeah, couldn't do nothing for 5 to 6 weeks, so I didn't have that usual cardio that I have coming into this, and it was really messing with me mentally. And then, like, 3 weeks before the fight, I got, like, the flu, and I was super sick. And, people were telling me to pull out of this fight. I seriously considered pulling out of this fight so many times. There were so many times where I went to bed at night and woke up and went to bed knowing tomorrow I'm going to hit up my manager and just tell him I can't do it. Like, that happened so many times, but that just didn't sit well with me, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to pull out of this fight. This is a huge opportunity. I know I can beat this dude. And, yeah, I always have the utmost faith and belief in myself, and I knew I was going to get there and find a way to win.
And just last one for me. We talked about this before the fight, about how your career's been a bit weird. You've had some injuries, some layoffs. This was a big opportunity here, and you came through and you got it done. How big of a year is this going to be for you in your career? And is it a bit of vindication, too? Because, again, you've got a good record. It's just we haven't maybe seen you as much. This is the
year. I've been in the UFC 4 years, going on 5 years now. I've fought like once a year, something like that. I know where I stack up against these dudes when I'm healthy and I'm on point. And, yeah, this is the year where I'm active. January is, perfect for laying out an active year. I'm fighting January. I want to fight again in May, maybe June, and then squeeze another one in like October, early November, right before the holidays, so I can get in at least 3 this year.
Just a quick one for me. When you're going into a fight, in this one you had a 9-inch reach advantage. Throughout your career, do you feel that you've fully mastered how to utilize that kind of an advantage? And conversely, does it ever create issues for yourself when you have that?
I could have used it better tonight, but yeah, some guys have a real long reach and they don't know how to use it, but I feel like I know how to use mine fairly well, and I feel like that's what gives everybody problems that steps across from me.
Sean, where does that rank as the strangest things that happened in your career so far?
Number one, that's the craziest thing that's ever happened in my career. I mean, it's fresh, so I might be biased, but yeah, off the top of my head, that's the craziest thing that's ever happened. Yeah, it's so cliche to say, but that was seriously a roller coaster of emotions. It was crazy. I'll never forget it.
You said before that you felt a little bit off before the fight, a little off during the fight. Cormier, when he was doing the commentary, actually said there were times where you looked like you were in the zone. So what was your mindset when you were in there?
That's what I'm saying. I've had another split decision on my record a few years back, and this is the second split. And even in that night, I felt super off, and a ton of my fights I feel off. But yeah, that just, as crazy as it sounds, that lets me know how good I am. That I'm picking up these wins at the highest level in the sport on off nights. Yeah, that's just pretty much it. Yeah.
And speaking of how good you are, I know you said before you're not really thinking about who's you're fighting next or where you are in the rankings, but just to frame it for you now, that's 5 straight fights without a loss. That streak is behind only guys like Ili Topuria, who's fighting for the title, Movsar, who's about to fight right now. Does that help you kind of figure out, are you top 20, top 15?
I'd say top 20 for sure. Yeah, I know you got to do a lot, and it's really meaningful to be in that top 15. I don't know if they're going to throw me in there off of a split decision, and I feel like I maybe have looked lackluster in there, but I felt like if the training camp wasn't as horrific as it is, I could feel it when I was in there with him that I could have done so much more, and that I'm better than that dude. I was better than him, and like I said, he's a killer. He's been in there with the best. He's been ranked before, I believe. I think Charles was ranking in the ranks before. So yeah, I know I feel like I'm, one of the best, but yeah, I know I'm at least up there, top 20. But yeah, I don't even worry about that. I just know I keep winning these fights, and it puts me in a good spot. I know I'm in a good spot now. I just won that, and that's all I'm worried about, one fight at a time.
When you say you feel off in some of these fights, why do you think that is, and what exactly does that mean?
I mean, this fight, I know what it is. I mean, before, so the number one fight before, my fight against Yusuf, which was a split decision, I felt off in that one because that was like a year layoff, and I guess I attribute that to ring rust and inactivity. This one, you have no idea how hard this camp was and how it was a fight to get to the fight. I was 100% certain so many times that I was going to pull out. It was just super stressful, super hard camp, and just everything that happened during this camp, I know had me in there not at my best tonight. And
does it give you confidence that maybe you're not at your best and you're still putting together winning streaks and pulling off upsets?
100%. That's what I'm saying. I'm a dude who I always look on the bright side. I stay as positive as possible, even though when I have a performance that I'm not happy with, I still try to grasp and take whatever positive I can from that, and that's it. I'm in the UFC. I'm at the highest level, taking on killers and winning fights on off nights, and that just it adds my motivation to get back in the gym, and I don't want to have these too close for comfort fights. I want to get back in the gym, and I want to have clean kills.
Sean, just a quick one right here. You mentioned the injury that had you only able to really walk. How many weeks of an actual camp did you get ahead of this fight?
Solid, real deal training. I want to say 3 weeks or something like that. Like real training, how I train. Putting in real hard work with my strength and conditioning coach, and real hard work at Woolsden, my MMA gym. Yeah, about 3 solid weeks, I'd say.
Crazy. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.